This one's really interesting. Rico Dowdle to the Panthers. It was originally reported as like 1 year, 6.5 million. It ended up being up to 6.5 million. I believe Schefter said that it's actually a $3 million base deal, which, by the way, at that price, why are you signing Javonte Williams and not just keeping Rico Dowdle, Dallas? That's a question that I don't know the answer to. My biggest takeaway is I think we already knew, but this tells us a lot of what we need to know about Jonathan Brooks in 2025. So that's part of it. We're not probably not seeing him this year. But the other thing is that this money suggests that Dowdle's not a real threat to Chuba Hubbard's spot atop the depth chart. Like, I assume that they don't want him to get, what was it, 73% of the running back carries again. I assume they would want to give him a little bit more of a break than that. But he's probably not a real threat to Hubbard, even though I like Rico Dowdle and I think he's good. And adding Rico Dowdle here makes you question, are they going to spend draft capital as well at the position? So ultimately, like, this feels like a pretty good situation for Chuba Hubbard, and a really bad situation if you picked up Rico Dowdle in Dynasty last year, and we're hoping we were going to see him as a starting running back this year.
Yeah, probably it moves him back in just like that 1 year handcuff zone, right? Like if you're doing like zero RB or you're picking guys up off the waiver, he's better depth than what they had a year ago. Remember, Miles Sanders missed all that time last year. And then at the end of the year, when Chuba Hubbard missed those final 2 games, well, Sanders played the very final week, but there was like a week where they had to play like Raheem Blackshear, because they just had nobody left. And remember, Dowdle had a huge game against the Panthers too. So like instant, like bring him over.
Your theory stands as always.
I would assume that the Dallas side, that free agency opened and Dowdle's agency probably asked for more money that didn't exist, and Dallas pivoted. Because anytime you see it's like, well, apples to apples, they probably would have brought him back for the same contract that they gave the Javonte Williams. But I don't think that price was there at that time, I would assume.
Well, why do you need to jump
No,
at
you don't need to be
Javonte Williams?
aggressive. Yeah.
Like,
Who are they bidding against?
Especially since you're the Dallas Cowboys, who have been the least aggressive team in re-signing your own players and signing other players, and you jump at Javonte Williams. And we talked about this a little bit on the show with Warren on Tuesday, which you go listen to. But we talked about Javonte Williams a little bit. But like I don't want to sit here and crap on Javonte Williams because he had a serious knee injury. And prior to that serious knee injury, he was a very, very good running back who created yards on his own and was a really exciting player. He had the knee injury, and that's tough. Like, that's really sad. But Javonte Williams, we've seen over the last 2 years, you don't need to jump to sign that guy. And the fact that they did, and now ended up where, well, you could have just had Rico Dowdle back. Like, it's just a tough situation here for the Cowboys. To be fair, Javonte, I would be shocked if Javonte Williams is the starting running back for the Cowboys in week 1. I assume it will be a rookie. So, that's part of this rookie class thing. But yeah, it just seems like it's an odd thing to have had happen.
Yeah, and you see the running back deals that are happening so far, the ones that have transpired, it's a lot of 1 year deals.
Yeah.
Javonte, Najee Harris, Rico Dowdle, Kenneth Gainwell, all these guys are just getting they're just plugging these guys in for a year. And so it's hard to stock a lot of these guys from like a fantasy stance that aren't getting that like big time commitment. Even Najee going to a good spot, like the 1 year definitely like it gives him room for 2025 redraft value if he can get through this, the draft period and still be like in the front landing zone. But like from a dynasty stance, still like you're not getting that runway, that insulation like we had a year ago where all the running backs are getting multi-year deals.